Stepping into the classroom is akin to stepping out onto a stage. All eyes are light, everybody there looking at you, waiting for the performance to begin. But unlike traditional theatre, the script is constantly evolving, dictated by the unique personalities and needs of each audience member. To effectively navigate this dynamic interplay, the teacher needs more than just subject knowledge. They need a profound understanding of themselves. As the ancient Greek philosopher Socrates famously declared, "Know thyself." And nowhere does this adage feel more potent than in the field of education. In teaching, self-knowledge isn't just an introspective pursuit. It's the key that unlocks the door to empathy, adaptability, and the ability to connect with your students on a deeper level. This video delves into my own journey of self-discovery as an educator, highlighting how acknowledging my strengths and weaknesses, recognizing my values and biases, and embracing emotional intelligence has helped shape my classroom practice and hopefully help shape some of the lives of my students. Understanding strengths and weaknesses. As I said, the classroom is a dynamic environment, and the teacher who knows their natural strengths and their weaknesses can find their way through those situations more effectively. They can lean into those strengths, skirt past their weaknesses, and engage their classroom. I know one of my strengths is building relationships. I seem to be able to go through the school and enjoy everybody's presence, thoroughly enjoy getting to know all the different kids in their different ways. And I think that really helps me in my classroom. There's a lot of ways to understand your own strengths and weaknesses. Some of it may have come through journaling or talking to other teachers. Sometimes you might get the opportunity to go watch another teacher teach, and you really see how effective they can be with the skills that they have and how much that differs from what you might bring to the classroom. I think the main key is to be able to continually reflect on what's happening in your classroom and what feels comfortable to you, where do you feel confident, where do you feel like you've done really well in those situations, and you just work to try and figure out what those key things are. Maybe it's humor, maybe it's vulnerability, maybe it's your ability to tell a story, maybe it's your ability just to connect with kids one-on-one. Whatever it is, using that knowledge as you go through to realize, oh, that's actually a strength of mine, and then kind of double down on it a little bit. Utilize it. You know, you can overplay it a little bit because you can always pull back, but finding out where your strengths are and leaning in, that's a good, effective way to get better at your teaching. Likewise with your weaknesses, it can be a little bit harder to work with those, but sometimes we can be tough on ourselves anyway and focus in on them. It does give us an opportunity to look at those weaknesses and, you know, say to yourself, all right, I might need to do a little bit extra reading in that space. I might need to, you know, talk to another teacher and figure out how they manage that. For me, planning my lessons is a bit of a weakness. Maybe I feel like I'm a bit slow at it. It feels like it takes up a lot of my time when I want to be dedicating that time to building more relationships, getting out in the playground and talking to kids and connecting with them. This year, I've been pushed to utilize a different system for planning my lessons. I've been using this program called Trello, thanks to a colleague, Jamie, who helped me set that up. And just being open to seeing how you can do things a little bit better. If you can keep that openness in yourself, then you won't block against those weaknesses. You may just allow a little bit of space for them to shift or change or be open to a different way of doing things. You know, that can be hard to acknowledge in ourselves that we have weaknesses. There are easy wins to be gained from looking in that space. All right, harnessing values and beliefs. Through my time at the school I'm currently at, Sathya Sai College, it's a values-based school, so we've done a lot of values education in that time. We have an EHV class, which is an education in human values class, and that's where we look through all the different values that may exist in a human society, especially the ones that are effective for a good community. And we explore those topics and we define them and we do activities around them. You know, we're talking values like this one, self-knowledge or truthfulness or consistency or honesty, different values that you may have come across. And through that education, I've had a little bit of time to self-reflect on how those values sit in my life. And that's helped me uncover maybe where I've got some biases or maybe where I lean too heavily or very heavily on a particular value. And from that, I can ease myself up from being so heavy in one particular value or another. I can create more of a space for the class to explore values on their own and find their own understandings rather than put my values on them. Obviously, that's still going to come through in some ways. You can't be a blank slate, but at least having some awareness around that really helps me to create a space where the kids' input is as strong, or at least they can come to their own understanding of the values without it being put on them. Though there are some ways where having values and beliefs and using those biases in the classroom has helped. For example, utilizing creativity within the classroom has helped just bring different experiences for assessment or for the way that we go through the content or the subject. Sometimes that's bit me on the bum and it hasn't really worked and things get a bit chaotic and wild, but I think being open to that process of creativity in the classroom has helped it become more engaging and fun for us all. With sort of a bit more flexibility in how we'll run through things. If there's a spark of inspiration or excitement around a particular topic, we'll be able to explore that. If there's a particular format of assessment, say making a YouTube video or, you know, doing a play, and it's grabbed a bit of attention, you know, shifting it to that space so that we're not so locked in. So that's been somewhere where a bias of mine has helped me to make a better classroom. But it doesn't always work well. That said, having that self-knowledge and understanding of how your strengths can interplay with that classroom environment is a good thing. Developing emotional intelligence. This has been a big one for me in teaching and understanding myself and how that impacts my teaching. Emotional intelligence is something I've worked on a lot over the last few years. It's something I've reflected on a lot to really start to understand how my emotions, what I'm feeling, how I'm feeling them, what they do to me, how they impact my life and how I show up. So in developing my understanding of how my emotional world works, coming to terms with that, accepting that, going to all the parts of myself that are challenging or tough to be in, all the different feelings that are challenging or tough to sit with. It's given me an ability to sit with those emotions within others. So that has helped me be much more understanding with the particular situations that might come up with different students, whether it's an emotional situation or any situation that they might have come up with and they might be grappling with. I feel like I'm much more equipped to handle those situations than I could have before really understanding my emotional world. It's always a work in progress, of course, and I'm always learning and refining and understanding more. But the more I've worked to understand my emotional world, the more I've felt like I can connect with students at any part of their emotional world that they are in. And you know, just like when I was younger, I didn't really understand all those emotions and things I was feeling, didn't have that self-awareness then, I can help to guide those students through those situations as best I can. Also, with understanding my own emotional intelligence, it's helped me to navigate stress and to project calm and to feel calm within situations that previous to understanding this would have really rattled me, and that's been powerful. That's been really powerful to be able to manage that stress and calm my nervous system through, you know, meditation, breathing, exercise, food, sleep, all of those things that we know help, but to really get better at it and more consistent at it has been huge in making sure that I'm feeling good and consistent in the classroom and in school. Embracing adaptability and growth. With an attitude of building self-knowledge and how that's utilized within teaching, if you've got that value within yourself, I've found that it's helped me be open to feedback and willing to accept others' perspective on what I might be doing or what I might be doing wrong. Years previous, and in jobs previous, that type of feedback has actually quite hurt me, and it's made me go very internal and hasn't actually really helped me to grow. But having a value of understanding yourself has definitely made me appreciate that type of feedback from others, whether it's from other teachers or from the principal or from students as well, to integrate that feedback into how I do things. And understanding yourself requires a bit of coming to terms with your own ego and how that works and how it can be affected by things like feedback. And through reflection, you can realize, feedback is hurting me, but when you can intellectually understand that feedback can be a helpful thing, and then you start to embrace that, you can slowly move forward through that feedback and start to utilize it. And at certain times, you may even crave feedback and seek it out much more consistently, because you realize, feedback is a little bit of a shortcut. If you can take it on the chin and utilize it, it's a bit of a hack in terms of figuring out how to navigate your current situation in a better way. And then if you can understand where your growth areas might be, then you can go out and search for professional development or courses or books, whatever it is, to help move forward in those particular areas. For me at the moment, it's around mental health issues and well-being issues. That's part of my role this year. So finding more resources and better ways to manage the busyness of the school with those well-being challenges that come up, and then how to help students find what they need to find, or help them in the moment, or seek out extra support. Learning how to manage those scenarios is what I'm seeking out for professional development at the moment. So in terms of developing self-knowledge within yourself and applying it in your teaching practice, it's been such a big part of developing my teaching practice. Utilizing reflective practice, utilizing journaling, seeking feedback, understanding your strengths and weaknesses. It's all part of just a flowing tapestry that helps you really get into those dynamic situations and manage them effectively. It's challenging and it's wobbly and it's great one day and tricky the next, but it generally leads you into a good situation that you get more and more confident in and at. So that's self-reflection and teaching. Thanks.